Okay, we're live. All right. Welcome, everybody, to Wall Street Reporter's Discovery Day Company Spotlight. We are back with Stria Resources. Again, this is the company which is at the epicenter of one of the hottest areas for lithium, for battery metals. This is James Bay, Quebec. We're calling it, the Saudi Arabia of lithium. Just like Saudi Arabia has massive amount of oil, this is the place for lithium, for battery metals right here in North America. Which makes it an incredibly strategic place. And of course, Stria, as we've been pointing out, is surrounded by neighbors like Brunswick, like Patriot Metals, what's the other, Lyft. These are all companies, $100 to $1 billion valuations, $100 million to $1 billion valuations. Stria is a $5 million valuation. And we've got some great news today that we're going to be speaking about, and hopefully we'll have some good audience questions. Dean, welcome back to the program.
Yeah, thanks very much. Glad to be back. Got some great news I wanted to share.
Yeah, sorry about my long-winded intro, but let's get right into news. Today, you had some incredible news. This is like lab results, samples. In plain English, because we have a lot of new people, explain to us what today's news actually means. And this is about your new property, right? This is the new project you just added.
So we added the project Pontax 2, our second project. And so what we did was we had some samples that we were able to use from the previous person that had the property, and they were 10 kilogram samples. So what they do is they basically look for tantalum, oxides within that, and they count each an individual grain. Okay, so we were very fortunate that the company that we use has the technology to be able to do that, and they actually did it for the region as well. So the Quebec government had hired them years back, 2019, to do all these, counts within the region in order to obviously get the market to see what's there. And then from there, people stake and get excited. So like Lyft had an anomaly. That's why they staked the grounds that they staked, and some of the others as well. So we have the average. And what we released today was like the average was about 36 grains. So they're like actually counting each individual tantalite grain oxide. Okay. So when that happens, we looked at what do we have. So we had ours, and ours came out at like 156. So we're in the 97th percentile, and we had the highest grade that has ever gone through the lab at 797. And if you look at the map, you can see like all the different companies that are there. The important thing about it is that like it's till samples, but these till samples, because they've been around, people have actually been able to drill and do some work. And you can see that there is a correlation. It's not like they don't have a high signature strength. It's a tool. It's not that it's guaranteed for sure that it's exactly there. But if you have it so far, everybody that's had it, like our Pontax Central property, we had an anomaly, and we drilled and we had lithium. It's the same thing here, except the numbers are off the charts. Like we're so excited about the numbers because we weren't expecting it. And to be honest, we had 10 kilogram samples. The rest of the region that the government had, and even our own project at Pontax Central, we were using 20 kilograms. So when you're counting each individual grain, you can imagine you could technically double these. I mean, I'm unable to do it scientifically, but obviously, if you have double, you're going to get more. So the numbers are off the charts. And if you see here, if you go back to that map, even you can see that.
So let me bring this up. I should have had this up on the screen earlier, but I'm just pulling up. This is today's news. This is coming from Yahoo. But in plain English, okay, so these lab samples, okay, so these labs, this lab data basically, right? What is the purpose of it? Is the purpose of it to show that, okay, if we have X amount of grains of this tantalum, that means that there is lithium here? Like, what does this mean?
So you can't have lithium. The tantalum is one of those things. If it's present, then you have lithium. So basically, spodumene pegmatites, it's a signature. So it's a tool that you use. And so, it helps you know where should you go on the property? Do you have something on the property? But when you find an anomaly with that many, and we know that if you look again at the map, it heads down southwest, then you can see that if you see that, it's probably not coming from somewhere else, because you see the numbers are smaller at the top. But those small numbers that you see, if you go on, they still, basically blow away the region. But the numbers that you see as you go down, they're really high. And like I said, you could almost double these numbers because it was 10 kilograms instead of 20. But using these numbers, we're at the 97 percentile, and some of the numbers there are the highest the lab's ever processed. So we're excited because if you have that, it's almost like where there's smoke, Jack, there's fire, right?
Okay.
You can't have this and have nothing usually. So it's somewhere. And if you look at Pontac Central, we use those signatures, those same till samples, and we actually found when we drilled, it was there. So if you look at the bottom lift staked around there, they've had some success with some sampling as well. And then those little dots you see, that's the average. So you can see the anomaly in the cluster. I mean, you don't have to be a Philadelphia lawyer to figure that out.
So I'm looking at this map. This is the region, right? This is this lithium district. And you're surrounded by all these neighbors. These are all these, $100 million, billion-dollar companies, Lift Power, Brunswick, Patriot. So the beige, that's Lift, right? That's Lift, the beige one. And it looks to me that basically, okay, so the big red dot at the bottom here, that is, that's showing a lot. This is showing a big anomaly of potentially, lithium bearing soil. Excuse me if I'm butchering the geological terms, but okay. So this shows that basically they got some lithium, and what's interesting is your thing shows that you have a lot more than what they have in a highly concentrated area. Again, both in this new area, Pontax 2, and Pontax 1, which is already drilling.
Yeah, and if you look at also like, they will do more drilling. We put what the government's information and what we have, but if you look there, you can see like where the other projects are, like in that region. That generally where you have high anomalies, you've had some success. So we know from drilling at Pontax, like we backed it up with real drilling, and we can see success if you look through those red dots, orange dots, those till samples that came in. There's been success around there. So for us, it's just very, very, very strong signature. And again, like I said, we did this with 10 kilograms instead of 20. So everyone else is using 20 kilograms that you see. The only one that used 10, which is half, is Pontax 2. So you can imagine, like, if you're counting grains of black pepper and salt, if you have double the amount to count, you're going to have more. So it's really exciting. Like I said, we're in the 97 percentile. It gives us, it's a strong signature. It gives us an opportunity to go in there right away. We're excited to get in. We're basically going to sample, and we're going to see where these tills are and in relation to what pegmatites are close by. And then we'll take some sampling and chip samples. We'll assay those, and we'll get ready to drill. We're excited. You can't get better results than what we have. Like we're very excited for our second project. We got really lucky. I feel very fortunate that we hit this.
So the bottom line, the takeaway is this. Okay, so this lab data is showing, and again on the map we're seeing, and this is all government data. This is all this is not stuff that
it's public data.
Yeah, this is all government data. This is this is not somebody Okay, so the bottom line is it's showing that you have this this incredible anomaly of this potentially a significant lithium resource. Am I allowed to say that? I want to make sure I don't want to be off sides with Canadian regulations, but potentially
you're not allowed to say any of that. But obviously there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah.
That's a fair thing to say. We don't know till you start drilling, but generally you don't find tantalum unless there's some lithium spodumene there, right? So it's one of those minerals that are associated with that you're not going to find randomly. So they're associated with this LCT pegmatite. So we're in the right region. And
so in plain English, it looks like look at them. Anybody that looks at the map, they can see your projects. It looks like they have significantly more potential. I'm going to use the word potential for a lithium resource deposit, whatever it is, than the other guy. Based on this data so far. And again, the market cap $5 million for Stria. The others are trading at 100 million to $1 billion plus. And again, they have other projects, etc. But it's something which is extremely interesting for investors. And again, Stria is only basically you're getting the stock, you're getting this thing for free because there's $2 million in cash in the bank, $2 million coming in from your partner in a little bit. So it's basically you're paying $1 million for this thing, which potentially could be worth, it's incredible. Dean, please correct me if I said anything that is not.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I would say is that we obviously don't have the data of the other companies to plot their other, if they have any other samples. But these guys are basically the only ones doing it in the region, and we happen to come out with the highest ever number that they've ever done. So all I would say is, like, for us, I can speak about other people's projects, but you can see that there's definitely some serious signatures there. We're very excited about it because we get on, and if you don't see it, you're not sure what you're doing. But since we've done it before and we've seen it, and then we've drilled and we were successful, it obviously gives us more confidence in what we see and that we're going to get out there and do it. So we're excited to get on the ground. Let me put it to you that way, and then get at that thing and drill it, like, for sure.
Yeah, and now speaking as an investor, okay, so basically the stock, before this data came out, before, I mean, even let's call it before you added the new projects, the stock was trading at, let's call it 20 cents Canadian, right? That was just with the existing Pontex project. Now, in the space of, I don't know, what is it, 4 or 6 weeks, you've doubled the size of your land position, right, of your projects. You've released this incredible data. The stock is still 20 cents, although it's that's the lab calling. They said they found the lithium.
Yeah, hold on, let me just see.
So it's basically, I think it's incredibly compelling for investors right now, because again, the stock is trading at the same price where it was 8 weeks ago, when all you had was Pontex 1, which again, we're waiting for that resource estimate to come out in the next few months. This is from obviously your partner Cygnus, which is spending, I think, $7 million, I think, if I remember correctly, the number to drill. So it's an incredible value play. I mean, is that you? Is that your phone?
The lab again.
So
you get really good results.
That's the special signal. Okay. By the way, in case any of the Canadian regulators are watching, we're making this is a joke. I mean, I don't know. Dave,
yeah,
is that no? Okay, this is joke. Yeah, because these guys sometimes they watch these. They get like they watch these videos. They get very nervous. So I don't want to say anything that's potentially offside. So bottom line is we have incredible news today. Anybody? I'm surprised we don't have any mining people watching, right? I mean, probably the questions are going to come in later, but yeah. So this is, again, from what I heard from some people who know mining. They said, again, these numbers are off the charts, like you said also, is again incredible. Bottom line is the stock is $5 million valuation. You have these multiple catalysts for upside potential. Again, you have the resource we're waiting for the next 8 weeks. You have this new lab data. You have this new project where drilling. When is the drill? When do you basically you're going to bring in a drilling partner at some point for this new project, right?
Well, I think what we'll do is like we did with Pontac Central. We'll take this, like, again. So this is a tool, and it's one tool that kind of leads to a second tool. So you take this, till samples, you get actual assay samples by going collecting, grab samples, what have you, and then from there we figure out, okay, where we should be drilling, because drilling is obviously the most expensive. So you want to make sure that you give yourself the best chance. So that's what we're doing. And then we'll probably drill it ourselves. We'll get out there, drill it, like hit some holes, hopefully make sure that we kind of do what we did before, we were successful, and then we can go out and find a partner, right? But we first got to make sure that we have something, right? We don't want to throw pie in the sky. We want to go out there, do our due diligence on the property, follow up on this, and who knows, honestly, if the numbers continue and they're good and this happens, then we may keep it. If not, we might, who knows, we might job it out. Whatever's going to make best sense for the shareholders and the market. Really, we'll do whatever we need to do that makes sense.
No, I mean, again, what's interesting about Stria is you guys have been very pragmatic about, again, maximizing shareholder value. You're focused on whatever it is, whether it's bringing a partner, whatever, because some mining companies, when they're run by geologists, the ego gets involved. Like they want to do the whole thing. And it just makes a lot of times to bring in a specialist, like the Australian guys. They really know this pegmatite stuff. They know, lithium. So it's like, this is incredible. Now, and so you're saying that you might drill it yourself in the beginning just to, show some data. So that gives you obviously more leverage. If you have good data, it's going to give you a lot more leverage when you bring in a partner.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, I mean, when I say that, it's not us, but we're using iOS. These guys have been doing this for 40 years. They've drilled everything in Quebec. We couldn't do this without them. I mean, because they have so much samples, they have a $2 million machine that's one of a kind machine in the world to be able to do this, right? So they're kind of who we use, we lean on. And our philosophy is that there's people who are better and smarter than we are that can do this. And we just accept what they say and we listen to them, as they have a lot of experience. And a lot of times they've been on these properties over the last 40 years. Someone was looking for gold, somebody was looking for copper. So they have a lot of intel and data, and we just leverage it, and they've been fantastic. So, I mean, we're definitely in great hands with them as well. And that's who we used initially to get the project going at Pontac Central. So we're very fortunate, and, you know, big shout out to them, because without them, we would never have even figured out how to do this.
No, so I mean, look, you know, when something is working, you know, you got to keep going with what's working. You know, why break it if it's not? So why fix something that's not broken? So, okay, bottom line is, what's next? What, you know, today's news, I guess, caught people by surprise. What's next for Stria? What can we expect in the coming weeks? Like, are you going to do more? What are we going to see more of this? You know, grab samples, drilling. Like, what's the timeline there?
Yeah, the next thing is to do field work. So, I mean, like I said, this is a tool. You can't just use that and guaranteed it's a detective tool. We know that this is there. We're going to look where those were collected. We're going to do grab samples. They're going to visually look to see, okay, where are the pegmatites? What is this associated from? They'll look for that, and they'll take samples and what have you. We'll bring them back. We'll get them assayed. We'll share that obviously with everyone, and then from there, if you know, we'll decide like which came back with the assays, what they saw, and where the geologists think we should drill, and then we'll set up a drill program and get at it and start drilling it.
Okay, and in terms of timeline, what are you thinking? Like, what could we see that happen? When could you do, like, grab sample, like, 2 weeks from now,
We're
month?
supposed to go July. Like, we would have liked to start this week, but I mean, the fires are still happening. There's still some issues there. There's bans getting into the different areas of Quebec. Like, it's been a horrific year for Canada and forest fires. But yeah, we're gonna get in there. We were hoping maybe mid-July, so like a couple weeks. It was set up to get in there. So like we want to get at it. I mean, we're excited to get in there. You know, there's timelines when you can drill and when you can't drill. We're a little bit more fortunate on this one than Pontac Central because it's close to the road. We don't have some of the other issues. But yeah, we're going to get at it right away. We want to get those samples. We want to get them in, and then we're going to drill. So it's the next phase.
And I'm looking. Okay, so just to keep. Okay, so this map, the road, that's this. That's the James Bay Highway, which is that orange line here. So you're pretty close to that. Okay, so that's a positive. Okay, so bottom line is in the next couple of weeks. I mean, we're in July now, so in the next couple of weeks, you can get out there, start getting those grab samples, right? And that's going to give us, you know, more data. And how long will it take to get assays on those?
That I don't know, because we have to go out, collect it, bring it back. They'll have to do some work. I mean, it's quite a, you know, I went up there to see a video of what they did. There's a lot of work goes into crushing and cleaning it, getting it ready for the assay. So I'm not sure today. I could be lying if I told you exactly when it would be, but definitely we'd like to get in there, get back, send them in. So generally maybe 6 weeks after that. So, you know, we're hoping to get this done because like it's kind of the next stage. If the next set of results are really good, then we need to really ramp up and get ready. So yeah, we're not waiting, and we concentrate, Jack. Like, we're not all over the place. We're not like one of these mining companies that have 7 projects. No, we have 1 project. We get it going. We show that it has merit. We do what we need to do with our partners. We brought in a partner to take it over. That's best of breed, excellent operators. And then we move now to the second one. This project, we're going to do the same, spend our time on that. So we're not all over the place. We're focused. We can just concentrate on Pontac too, and that's what we plan to do. And we don't plan on having any gaps either. We're just going to keep going. We have money. We're owed $2 million more in cash or shares from Cygnus. We haven't had to raise any money. We got a 25 million shares outstanding. You know, we're not interested in taking flow through and these things that a lot of companies do. We're very, you know, considerate to our shareholders, and and the cost of money. And we're going to get at this and just concentrate. And concentration allows you to spend effectively on one thing. So far so good. And hopefully Pontax 2 is another good experience for everyone and more.
Okay. So bottom line, a couple of weeks, let's call 2 weeks from now, you start getting the grab samples. We'll be getting that data 6 weeks from then. So we're getting into
maybe less. I'm not sure. It depends. If it's
how long does it take to get the grab samples? How long is that going to take to do?
We'll be out there. I think it was slated for 7 days.
Okay.
So there's a lot of walking. There's a lot of, like, now that they know exactly where these anomalies are, they'll start looking northeast of that and kind of looking at the data from also Pontax Central to understand where the drill holes were and where, you see the red dots. So they'll try to figure out, where did this come from, right? Because again, you can see the ice flow direction in that movement. So where you see, glaciers move downwards, and that's why, we have to kind of go up from that and see, okay, where do we visually see the pegmatites? There's a lot of walking, a lot of, kind of mapping, looking at where they are, sampling. So it'll probably take a good, I think they're slated for like 8 days to get there and do it. So we're pretty excited about that.
Last question, I should have asked earlier, is for anybody that doesn't know, a grab sample. Explain what a grab sample is for anybody that wants to know about mining.
So I mean, they'll look to, a lot of times, they'll look at a rock, they'll cut a piece off, like chip samples. So they'll actually chip it off to have a piece of it. Sometimes there's loose rock that they grab, but they'll start to put things together with that at different locations and then map it so they know when those samples come back, they can know where they took it from, and it's marked so that they know kind of where to drill, like what pegmatites to drill. And lithium's not as complicated as gold, where you're chasing veins, and that if you grab the sample and look good, then we'll probably just drill there, right? So it's a detective tool.
Okay. So, okay, excellent. So we got that news. Anything else investors should keep an eye on? You have any other announcements that might be in the pipeline in the next couple of weeks?
Well, we're always working on stuff. We're not looking, immediately for a new project. Like I said, we got our hands full.
You got enough, right? I mean,
we got enough. I mean, and we picked up the land as well recently. A couple of days ago, you saw we picked up the land as well. So, I mean, we've got our hands full. We're going to get on there, and we'll do some more till samples on that as well. And I think that's what you can expect. I mean, there's nothing else I could share at this moment. I mean, we're always working on things in the background, but again, no forward-looking statements.
Exactly. Okay. All right. Fantastic. Dean, thank you for the update. And we look forward to getting more news in the coming weeks, and we'll do fall probably, I guess, maybe 3 weeks from now, once the grab samples or anything else is underway, and
that's excellent.
It'll be very exciting. Okay.
Dean, thank you.
Yeah, Dean, thank you again, and thank you everybody for joining us. We'll see you all on the next one.
Great. Thank you.